Liam Chen presses his back against the cold metal of the dumpster wall, heart hammering in his chest. Outside, his father's security team shouts into their radios. He can't have gone far. The chairman wants him found before midnight. Sweat trickles down Liam's neck despite the evening chill. Just 3 hours ago, he was CEO of Chen Technologies, worth billions on paper. Now he's hiding in garbage behind a restaurant, the putrid smell making his eyes water. Or maybe those are actual tears. His father's words echo in his mind. "You will marry Victoria Song. The merger paperwork is already drafted. This isn't a request." Liam closes his eyes, trying to steady his breathing. The voices grow closer. Suddenly the dumpster lurches. A mechanical whine fills his ears as the container begins to lift. "No, wait!" he cries out, but his voice drowns in the grinding of hydraulics. The world tilts, and Liam tumbles among the trash, helpless as darkness swallows him whole. Pain. That's the first thing Liam registers when consciousness returns. His head throbs. Something warm and sticky mats his hair. Blood? He tries to move but winces as sharp objects dig into his side. Where is he? The stench hits him next. Rotting food and who knows what else. His memory returns in flashes. The dumpster, his escape, the garbage truck. "I'm in a landfill," he whispers to himself, the reality of his situation sinking in. What have I done? Just yesterday, he stood on stage accepting the Innovation Award for his company's healthcare AI system. The crowd had cheered, cameras flashed. Was that really him? The successful CEO with the perfect life? Perfect. He almost laughs at the thought. What would those adoring fans think if they saw him now? Liam struggles to his feet, wincing at the pain shooting through his ribs. His designer suit is torn and filthy. His phone. Where is his phone? He pats his pockets frantically. The screen is shattered, battery dead. He feels for his wallet. Empty. Someone has stolen the cash. His ID remains, but what good is that? If he uses it, his father will find him within hours. Before we dive deep into this heartfelt story, please take a quick second to like and subscribe. It's completely free, and your support truly makes a difference. Now, enjoy the story. Is this really better than marrying Victoria? He asks himself, doubt creeping in. Victoria Song. Beautiful, accomplished, and completely devoid of warmth. A business arrangement with a beating heart. Their marriage would secure the merger between Chen Technologies and Song Industries, creating a corporate giant. Thousands of jobs saved, his father had emphasized. What he didn't mention was how the merger would give him control over Liam's company. The company Liam built after running away at 18. The company that was supposed. Night falls. The temperature drops. Liam limps away from the landfill, following distant lights. His head spins with each step. How far can he get in this condition? Without money, without identity? A truck rumbles past, spraying him with muddy water. The driver doesn't even slow down. Once, he could have bought that truck with pocket change. Now he's invisible. Just another homeless person to avoid eye contact with. The irony isn't lost on him. For years he'd walked past people on the street without really seeing them. Now he's become one of them. He reaches a cluster of makeshift shelters near the landfill's edge. A few figures huddle around a small fire in a metal barrel. Should he approach them? Ask for help? But what can he offer in return? His vision blurs. The ground seems to tilt. Not good. "Hey, you okay there?" A woman's voice calls. Liam turns toward the sound. A petite figure approaches, carrying what looks like a large bag. He can't make out her features in the darkness. "I dot." His voice sounds distant to his own ears. "I don't think so." The world tilts again. This time the ground rushes up to meet him. "Oh my God! Hey, stay with me!" Gentle hands roll him onto his back. A face comes into focus. Concerned eyes, a small frown of concentration. "Can you hear me?" What's your name? What should he say? Liam Chen, the missing CEO? Number that would end everything. Lee, he manages. My name is Lee. I'm May. I'm a nurse. You've got a nasty cut on your head. How did this happen? Before he can answer, darkness claims him again. Dreams and reality blur. His father's voice, Victoria's cold smile, the sensation of falling. Then warmth, softness beneath him, a damp cloth on his forehead. When Liam opens his eyes again, he's staring at a cracked ceiling. Not his penthouse, not the landfill. Where? He's awake, Grandma, that same gentle voice says. Liam turns his head. Pain shoots through his temple. A young woman sits beside what he now realizes is a worn-out couch. He's lying on a blanket that smells of lavender detergent. Clean. The woman, May, he remembers, offers a small smile. Welcome back to the land of the living. You gave me quite a scare. Behind her stands an elderly woman, watching him with wise, cautious eyes. Where am I? Liam asks. My apartment, May answers. I couldn't just leave you there. That cut needed stitches. He reaches up, feeling bandages on his head. You took me home? You don't know me. I know you needed help, she says simply. Besides, I work with homeless patients at the clinic all the time. Homeless. The word hits him like a physical blow. Is that what he is now? May-Lin has a heart too big for her own good, the grandmother says, but her tone holds affection rather than criticism. Thank you, Liam says, his voice cracking. On the small television in the corner, a news report catches his attention. His own face appears on screen. The search continues for missing tech billionaire Liam Chen, who disappeared last night from his father's estate. His heart stops. What will he do now? Liam's throat goes dry. His photo fills the small TV screen, a corporate headshot from last year's annual report. He looks away quickly, hoping May hasn't noticed his reaction. Such a shame, May says, shaking her head at the TV. Rich people have problems too, I guess. If only she knew. What would this kind-hearted nurse think if she realized she'd brought the missing billionaire into her modest apartment? Would she see dollar signs, call the media, his father? Some water, May offers, holding out a chipped mug. Thank you. Their fingers brush as he takes it. When was the last time someone touched him without an agenda? Her hands are slightly rough, working hands, healing hands. May's grandmother shuffles closer, studying him with narrowed eyes. You don't look like you've been on the streets long. Liam nearly chokes on his water. It's been a difficult time. Not a lie, technically. Grandma, give him space, May chides gently. He's injured and needs rest. We have little enough space as it is, the old woman responds, but her tone lacks real objection. Liam glances around the apartment. One small living room connected to an even smaller kitchen. A narrow hallway likely leads to a bedroom or two. The furniture is mismatched but clean. Framed photos cover one wall. May in nursing scrubs, with friends, with her grandmother. A life, a real life. When was the last time his own home felt lived in rather than merely occupied? I should go, Liam says, attempting to sit up. The room spins instantly. Whoa! May gently pushes him back down. Those stitches are fresh, and you likely have a concussion. You're not going anywhere tonight. I can't impose. It's not imposing if I'm insisting, she says, with a smile that transforms her face. Has anyone ever smiled at him like that, without wanting something in return? Lee can stay on the couch tonight, May tells her grandmother. Tomorrow we'll figure something out. The old woman sighs but nods. I'll get him an extra blanket. As she shuffles away, May lowers her voice. Sorry about Grandma. She worries about strangers, but she has a good heart. No, she's right to be cautious. You don't know anything about me. The guilt crawls up his throat. I could be dangerous. May laughs, the sound unexpectedly musical. I've worked the emergency room night shift for 3 years. I have pretty good instincts about dangerous people. She tilts her head, studying him. You're not dangerous. Lost, maybe, but not dangerous. Lost. The word echoes in his mind. Isn't that exactly what he is? Rest now, May says, standing. I have the early shift tomorrow, but Grandma will be here. I left some clothes that might fit you on the chair there. They belong to my cousin. After she leaves, Liam stares at the ceiling. The couch is lumpy beneath him, a far cry from his custom king-sized mattress. Yet somehow, he feels more at ease than he has in years. What happens now? How long can he maintain this charade? And why does part of him want to? Sleep claims him before he finds answers. Morning comes with the smell of something frying and quiet Mandarin conversation from the kitchen. Liam keeps his eyes closed, listening. His Mandarin is rusty. His father had insisted on English at home, but he catches words here and there. Strange man. Your kindness will be our undoing. Just until he's better. He shifts, making it obvious he's awake. The conversation stops. Good morning, May's grandmother says in English, appearing in the doorway. You hungry? His stomach growls in response. When did he last eat? The pre-engagement party? That feels like a lifetime ago. Yes, thank you, he says, carefully sitting up. The room stays mostly steady today. The grandmother, he should learn her name, sets a plate before him. Simple congee with scallions and a fried egg on top. The kind of breakfast his own grandmother made before his father sent him to boarding school. Thank you, he says again, this time in Mandarin. The old woman's eyebrows rise, but she only nods and returns to the kitchen. Liam eats slowly, savoring the simple meal more than any Michelin-starred restaurant fare from recent memory. On the side table, a small pile of clothes waits, worn jeans, a faded t-shirt, simple cotton socks, nothing like the bespoke suits that fill his closet at home. Yet he's strangely eager to put them on, to complete this transformation from Liam Chen, CEO, to Lee, whoever he might be. After changing in their tiny bathroom, Liam catches his reflection in the mirror and barely recognizes himself. The bandage on his temple, the borrowed clothes, the stubble growing on his jaw. The only thing that might give him away is his watch, an understated but undeniably expensive timepiece. He removes it, slipping it into his pocket. Who is he now? In the living room, May's grandmother sits watching a Chinese soap opera. She gestures for him to join her. May left for work. She said to make sure you rest. That's very kind, but I should probably go. Go where? The old woman's gaze is penetrating. You have somewhere to be? The question hits harder than she likely intends. Where would he go? Back to his father? To his empty penthouse where security would report his return immediately? To a hotel where his credit cards would alert his father's people? I don't want to be a burden, he finishes lamely. She snorts. May says you stay until your head heals, so you stay. They sit in silence for a while, the soap opera's dramatic dialogue filling the room. Finally, he asks, May I know your name? You can call me Nai Nai, she says. Everybody does. On the television, a breaking news alert interrupts the program. Liam tenses as his own face appears on screen again. The search for missing tech CEO Liam Chen intensifies as his father, Chairman Chen, increases the reward for information to $1 million. Chen disappeared on the eve of announcing his engagement to Victoria Song. The camera cuts to Victoria, dabbing at dry eyes with a handkerchief. I'm just so worried, she says, voice catching artificially. Liam, if you're watching this, please come home. Liam's stomach turns. He's never even kissed the woman, yet here she is playing the devastated, almost fiancé. Nai makes a dismissive sound. Rich people problems, she echoes her granddaughter's sentiment. Then she looks at Liam curiously. What do you think happened to him? Liam swallows hard. Maybe he didn't want the life they planned for him. Running away solves nothing, Nai says, with the confidence of someone who has faced life's hardships head-on. Problems follow you wherever you go. How right she is. His problems have already followed him here, to this tiny apartment with its mismatched furniture and warm congee. What do you do? She asks suddenly. Before, whatever happened to you? Another moment of truth. What can he say? I worked with computers, he answers carefully. Not a lie. But things complicated with my family. Nai nods as if this explains everything. Family complications, always the worst kind. The doorbell rings, startling them both. Liam's heart races. Has someone recognized him already? Nai shuffles to the door, peers through the peephole, then opens it. A middle-aged man in a maintenance uniform enters, toolbox in hand. About time, Nai grumbles. Sink's been leaking 3 days. The man shrugs apologetically. Many buildings, not enough workers. Liam watches as the maintenance man examines the kitchen sink, muttering to himself. After a few minutes he stands, looking dejected. Needs special part. Come back tomorrow, maybe next day. Nai's expression falls. But the water waste? Sorry, nothing I can do today. After the man leaves, Nai sighs heavily, placing a bucket under the steadily dripping faucet. The sound echoes through the small apartment, a metronome of frustration. Liam hesitates, then stands. May I take a look? Nai raises an eyebrow but gestures toward the sink. You know plumbing? Does he? Not professionally, but there was a time, before his father reclaimed him for the family business, when he lived in a run-down apartment during college. He'd learned basics out of necessity when he couldn't afford repairs. A little, he admits, kneeling to examine the pipes. The problem is simple, a worn-out washer and loose connection. He could fix this in minutes with the right tools. Do you have any tools? Maybe pliers, wrench, screwdriver? Nai disappears into a closet, returning with a small toolbox. May's father's, she explains, before he died. Liam works methodically, focusing on the task. It feels good to use his hands for something practical, something real. When was the last time he fixed anything himself instead of calling someone? The corporate world is all about delegation, outsourcing actual labor. There, he says finally, tightening the last connection. Try it now. Nai turns the faucet. No drips. She looks at him with new respect. Where did Rich Boy learn to fix sinks? Liam freezes. What did you call me? Rich Boy, she repeats calmly. Your hands, too soft for someone who works with them. Your posture, the way you speak, you come from money. Is his disguise that transparent? It's complicated. Always is. She pats his arm. Don't worry, not my business why you're hiding. I'm not. He starts to protest, then stops. What's the point? Thank you for not asking. Everyone deserves second chances, she says simply. Even rich boys. When May returns that evening, she finds them playing Chinese chess, Liam losing badly, but enjoying himself anyway. Well, this is unexpected, she says, setting down groceries. You're looking better, Lee. Your grandmother is a ruthless opponent, Liam replies. gesturing at the board where his pieces are systematically being destroyed. And he fixed the sink, Nai adds, capturing another of his pieces. May's eyebrows shoot up. Really? The super said it would be days. It was nothing, Liam says, embarrassed by her obvious appreciation. Just a loose fitting. Nothing? We've been dealing with that drip for a week. May's smile is grateful, genuine. Thank you. Something warm unfurls in Liam's chest. When was the last time someone thanked him sincerely for anything? In his world, people either expect things from him or are paid to do things for him. This simple appreciation for fixing a sink feels more rewarding than closing $1 million deal. I made extra shifts this week, May says, unpacking groceries. The clinic is struggling again. The free clinic on Mulberry? Nai asks. Yes, we lost some funding. May sighs, her shoulders drooping slightly. Again. Liam's ears perk up. What happened? Some big corporate promise that fell through, May explains, chopping vegetables with efficient movements. We were supposed to get a new AI diagnostic system donated by. She pauses, knife hovering mid-air. Actually, by that missing CEO's company, Chen Technologies. Liam nearly chokes. His company? The Community Health Initiative was his pet project. What does she mean it fell through? The system would have helped us serve twice as many patients, May continues, unaware of his internal panic. But apparently, some merger changed priorities. The merger, his father's doing, no doubt. How much else has been happening without his knowledge? That's unfortunate, he manages. It's how it always goes, May says, resuming her chopping. The clinic serves people who can't afford regular health care. We're never going to be a priority for billionaires. Each word stings like an accusation, though she has no idea she's speaking to one of those very billionaires. What will happen to the clinic? He asks. We'll manage, we always do. Her smile returns, though tinged with weariness. The community needs us. Community. Such a simple word, yet in his world, it rarely comes up, except in press releases, about corporate community responsibility, usually referring to tax-deductible donations. But May means something else entirely. She means people helping people, neighbors caring for neighbors. The concept feels almost foreign to him now. Maybe you could help at the clinic, May suggests suddenly. We always need volunteers, and it might help you get back on your feet. The irony is almost too much. Him, volunteering at a clinic his company was supposed to be supporting, yet the idea appeals to him in a way he can't explain. I'd like that, he says, surprising himself with his sincerity. Later, as they eat dinner together at their small table, Liam finds himself studying Moy. She talks animatedly about her patients, her work, her hopes for the clinic. Her passion is palpable, her commitment unwavering despite the challenges. When was the last time he felt that kind of purpose, that kind of connection to his work? On the TV, his face appears again in another news update. May doesn't notice. She's laughing at something Nai said. But Liam notices. Two versions of himself, existing simultaneously. One a missing billionaire, the other a homeless man with a concussion. Which one is the real Liam Chen? The next morning, Liam accompanies May to the clinic. The building is small, wedged between a laundromat and a convenience store. Paint peels from the walls. A flickering sign announces Community Health Clinic in English, Spanish, and Chinese. It's not much, May says, catching his expression, but we help a lot of people here. Inside, the waiting room is already filling despite the early hour. Elderly patients with oxygen tanks, mothers with feverish children, a teenager with what looks like a badly sprained wrist. These people have nowhere else to go? Liam asks, though he knows the answer. Most don't have insurance. Others can't miss work for regular doctor's hours. May slips on her ID badge. For many, we're the only healthcare they ever see. A middle-aged doctor approaches them, dark circles under his eyes suggesting he hasn't slept much. May, thank goodness, we're short-staffed again. Mrs. Zhang needs her insulin levels checked, and the Rodriguez family is back. All 3 kids have that respiratory infection. I'll get right to it. May turns to Liam. Dr. Wong, this is Lee. He's staying with us for a while. He's offered to help. Dr. Wong barely looks at Liam, too overwhelmed to question a volunteer. Can you manage the front desk? Just check people in, make sure their forms are filled out. Anything medical? Find someone in scrubs? I can do that, Liam says, rolling up his sleeves. The morning passes in a blur of activity. Liam checks in patients, helps elderly visitors complete forms, entertains fussy children while their parents see the doctor. The work is simple but essential. No one asks about his bandaged head or who he is. They're just grateful for the help. During a brief lull, Liam explores the clinic's back office. What he finds disturbs him. Outdated computers, medical supplies carefully rationed, a budget spreadsheet showing figures in red. His community health initiative was supposed to change all this. What happened? May finds him staring at the ancient desktop computer. Looking for something? Just wondering why a clinic this important struggles so much for funding. May leans against the desk, fatigue evident in her posture. The usual story, we're not profitable, we serve people who can't pay much, if anything. But there are grants, corporate sponsorships, which require endless paperwork and connections we don't have. She sighs. We had a miracle lined up. Chen Technologies was going to provide an AI diagnostic system that would revolutionize how we operate. What happened? Liam asks, though he dreads the answer. The company's focus has shifted after some big merger news. The system was redirected to private hospitals that could afford to pay for it. Her voice holds no bitterness, only resignation. Business is business, right? But it wasn't supposed to be like that. His initiative had been approved, the budgets allocated. Who changed the direction? His CFO, the board, his father? It's not right, he says quietly. May smiles sadly. Life rarely is, but we make do with what we have. She touches his arm gently. Come on, lunch break. I brought extra. They sit on a bench outside, sharing May's homemade dumplings. The sun warms them as they watch people pass by, many greeting May by name. You know everyone, Liam observes. This is my neighborhood. I grew up here. She points to buildings, sharing memories. First bike ride there. First heartbreak on that corner. First day of nursing school, I waited for the bus there, terrified I'd fail. But you didn't fail. Almost. I had to drop out when my parents died. Couldn't afford tuition while supporting Grandma. She says this without self-pity. Took night classes, finally got my RN license 3 years later. Liam tries to imagine such determination. In his world, obstacles are removed with money or influence. What would it be like to fight for every step forward? You're remarkable, he says simply. She laughs. For doing what needs doing, that's just life, Lee. Is it? Is that what life should be? Not acquisition and expansion, but purpose and connection? Back at the clinic, Dr. Wong approaches with a worried expression. May, can I speak with you? They step aside, but Liam overhears anyway. The building owner called. Chen Song Holdings just bought the property. They're terminating our lease early for redevelopment. We have 30 days. May's face pales. 30 days? But our patients... I know. I've called everyone I can think of. No one has space for us, not at what we can afford. Chen Song Holdings. The merger. His company and Victoria's family business combining to create a real estate giant, apparently at the expense of this clinic. Liam feels physically ill. Is this what his absence has allowed? His father's ruthless business practices taking over what he built? Throughout the afternoon, he watches May continue caring for patients, her smile never faltering despite the devastating news. She treats each person with dignity, listening to concerns others might dismiss, offering comfort alongside medicine. By day's end, Liam's perspective has shifted. The problems that seemed so important before, his freedom from his father's control, his company's market position, now feel hollow compared to the real crisis unfolding here. That evening, as they walk home, May finally breaks down. "Where will they go?" she asks, tears streaming down her face. "Mrs. Chen with her heart condition, the Diaz children with asthma. Without regular care, some of them won't." She can't finish the sentence. Without thinking, Liam pulls her into an embrace. She stiffens momentarily, then relaxes against him, allowing herself this moment of vulnerability. "There has to be a solution," he says, holding her. "Someone who can help." She pulls back, wiping tears. "Like who?" "We need a miracle, Lee. Or a billionaire with a conscience." She laughs bitterly at the thought. The irony cuts deep. He is exactly that, or could be if he reclaimed his identity. But at what cost? His father would drag him back, force the marriage, use his company for his own ends. Yet standing here, watching May's heartbreak over her clinic, those concerns seem increasingly selfish. That night, unable to sleep on the lumpy couch, Liam makes a decision. He needs information. Tomorrow he'll find a way to contact the one person he still trusts. His assistant Sarah, who has been with him since the beginning. If anyone can tell him what's really happening at his company and help him fix this, it's her. But contacting her means risking everything. His freedom, his hiding place, and whatever this new feeling is that stirs when May smiles at him. Is he ready for that? The opportunity comes the next morning when May leaves her phone charging while she showers. Liam hesitates only briefly before grabbing it, his heart pounding. He doesn't know Sarah's number by heart. Who memorizes numbers these days? But he knows her email. Using May's browser, he sends a message from a newly created account. "Sarah, it's me. Don't respond here. Need information on clinic closures in East Side neighborhood. Who authorized? Call this number at exactly 2 p.m. today. Tell no one." L quote. He includes the number for a payphone he noticed near the clinic, then deletes all traces of the message from May's phone. "Borrowed your phone to check the weather," he tells May when she emerges. The lie tastes bitter on his tongue. How many more deceptions must he pile up? At the clinic, tension fills the air. Staff whisper in corners. Patients sense something wrong but don't ask. "Lee, can you handle the front desk again?" Dr. Wong asks. "May and I need to visit other locations, see if anyone has space for our patients." "Perfect. Of course." At precisely 2 p.m., Liam slips out to the payphone. It rings immediately. 3 minutes, Sarah's familiar voice says without greeting. "The clinic closure was authorized by the interim CEO, your father. The merger documentation was altered after your disappearance. Victoria Song's family gets controlling interest in Chen Technologies. Your father gets their real estate holdings. They're converting the entire block into luxury condos." Liam grips the receiver tightly. "My healthcare initiative?" "Scrapped completely. Funding redirected to private hospital partnerships." She pauses. "Liam, your father's telling everyone you had a nervous breakdown, that you're getting treatment, but he's handling your affairs. The board believes him." He can't do this. He already is. He's using your company, your reputation to... She stops suddenly. Someone's coming. Be careful. They're still looking for you. The line goes dead. Liam stands frozen, the full picture becoming clear. His father isn't just forcing a marriage. He's stealing everything Liam built, perverting its purpose, using his name to legitimize it all. And people like May are paying the price. Walking back to the clinic, his resolve hardens. He needs to stop this, but how? If he reveals himself, his father will simply have him declared incompetent, lock him away somewhere until the merger is complete. He needs leverage, evidence, something to expose what's really happening. Inside the clinic, he finds a new crisis unfolding. "They shut off our power!" Dr. Wong shouts into his phone. "We have vaccines that need refrigeration." Staff scramble to save what they can. Liam helps move critical medications to coolers with ice. When May returns, her face falls, seeing the darkened clinic. "They said we had 30 days. "Apparently not," Dr. Wong says grimly. Patients are being turned away. A pregnant woman in her 3rd trimester weeps openly, her appointment for critical prenatal care cancelled. May comforts her, promising to see her at her home after work. One by one, the staff make similar arrangements, refusing to abandon their patients despite everything. Watching this, something breaks open inside Liam. These people, with so little power, so few resources, fight harder for what matters than he ever has. He's been hiding from his responsibilities, running from the very position that could help. "I need to tell you something," he says to May as they walk home that evening. "Something important." But before he can continue, a sleek black car pulls alongside them. The window lowers, revealing Victoria Song's perfectly composed face. "Hello, Liam," she says coolly. "Your little adventure is over." May looks between them, confusion turning to shock. "Liam? As in ... Security men emerge from the car. "Your father is very disappointed," Victoria continues, "but the doctors say with proper treatment you'll be back to normal soon." "Doctors? What doctors?" Liam backs away. "For your breakdown, darling." Victoria's smile doesn't reach her eyes. "Everyone understands you've been under tremendous pressure." "You're Liam Chen?" May whispers, hurt and betrayal washing over her face. "You've been lying this whole time?" "May, I can explain." One of the security men grabs his arm. Liam struggles, but another approaches with what looks like a syringe. "Just a mild sedative," Victoria explains to a horrified Mai. "For his own good." "Let him go!" May demands, attempting to intervene. The security guard shoves her roughly. She stumbles backward, falling hard. Something snaps in Liam. "Enough!" With strength born of fury, he breaks free, rushing to May's side. "Are you hurt?" "Why?" she asks, her voice small. "Why pretend to be homeless? Was this some kind of game?" "No, I was escaping an arranged marriage, the merger." He helps her stand, then turns to face Victoria and the guards. "I'm not going anywhere with you, and I'm not marrying anyone." Victoria sighs dramatically. "Your father warned me about this, the paranoid delusions." The security men advance again. Liam positions himself in front of Mai. "Leave now," he says, with deadly calm. "Or tomorrow every news outlet gets the full story. How Chairman Chen and the Songs conspired to declare me incompetent and steal my company." "No one will believe you," Victoria scoffs, but uncertainty flickers across her face. "My assistant has documentation. She's been gathering evidence for weeks." A bluff, but a calculated one. "I just needed to understand what you were really planning." For the first time, Victoria looks unsettled. "Your father won't allow this." My father doesn't control me anymore. Liam stands taller. Now get out of here before I call the actual police. After a tense standoff, Victoria signals the men to retreat. This isn't over, she warns before the car pulls away. Liam turns to May, whose expression remains unreadable. I'm so sorry. I should have told you. Why didn't you? At first, to protect myself. Then, he takes a deep breath. Because I was afraid of losing this, being seen as just a person, not a bank account or a business opportunity. So what happens now, Mr. CEO? May asks, her voice guarded. Liam takes her hand. Now, I fix what's broken, starting with your clinic. May steps back, arms crossed. So all this time you were him, the billionaire CEO whose company abandoned our clinic? I never abandoned your clinic, Liam says desperately. That was my father. He took control while I was gone. Her eyes narrow with suspicion. Convenient explanation. It's the truth. He runs a hand through his hair. The Community Health Initiative was my project. I had no idea it was cancelled until I heard you talking about it. And I'm supposed to believe that? I understand if you don't. Liam's voice softens. I lied about my identity, but everything else, helping at the clinic, getting to know you and your grandmother, that was real, May. She turns away, emotions warring across her face. I need time to think. Of course, he hesitates, but the clinic doesn't have time. My father and the songs will move quickly now that they know I'm onto them. Despite her anger, May's concern for her patients wins out. What can you do? More than you think, Liam says, determination hardening his features. But I'll need to borrow your phone again. That night, Liam makes calls from May's tiny balcony while she sits silently inside. His assistant Sarah, his company's legal counsel, a journalist friend. With each call, pieces of his plan fall into place. When he finally returns inside, May has a simple question. Why did you really hide in that dumpster? The truth. Liam sits across from her, holding nothing back. My father was using my mother's memory to manipulate me into a business marriage with Victoria. He threatened everything I've built if I refused. So you ran? I panicked, he admits. I just needed time to think, to find another way. I never planned to stay gone. But you did. Because for the first time in years, I felt real. His eyes meet hers. With you and Nai, I wasn't a bank account or a business asset. I was just a person. Something in May's expression softens, though her guard remains up. What happens now? Now, Liam says, I fight back. The next morning, Liam returns to his world. Dressed in borrowed clothes, he walks into Chen Technologies' gleaming headquarters. Employees stare in shock as he strides through the lobby, unshaven and without his usual suit, but unmistakably their CEO. His father waits in Liam's office, face thunderous. This childish rebellion ends now, Chairman Chen says. The merger documents are ready. Victoria is willing to overlook your episode. How generous of her, Liam replies coolly. But there will be no merger. His father laughs. You have no choice. The board has just received evidence of your attempted corporate coup. Liam places a folder on the desk. Documented proof that you falsified my signature, misrepresented my absence as a breakdown, and diverted company resources against approved initiatives. The color drains from his father's face. You wouldn't dare move against your own family. You taught me business comes first, Liam says, echoing his father's lifelong mantra. Consider this a hostile takeover. Security arrives. Liam's security, not his father's men. Please escort Chairman Chen out, Liam instructs. His visitor badge has been revoked. As his father is led away, shouting threats, Liam turns to the window. The view of the city is familiar, but he sees it differently now. Not as territory to conquer, but as communities to serve. His phone rings. Sarah, confirming the emergency board meeting is arranged. Phase 1 complete. By evening, exhausted but victorious, Liam returns to May's apartment. To his surprise, she opens the door before he knocks. It's all over the news, she says, gesturing to the TV where his face dominates the screen. The headline reads, CEO returns, stops controversial merger. That's just the beginning, he tells her. The board has frozen the real estate deals. Your clinic's lease is safe. Relief floods her face, though caution remains. Thank you for that. The patients will have more than just a reprieve. Liam interrupts gently. The Community Health Initiative has been reinstated with triple the original funding. Dr. Wong received the call an hour ago. Tears fill May's eyes. You did that? Today? It was always the plan. My plan before my father intervened. He takes a tentative step closer. May, I know I deceived you about who I was, but being with you, seeing the clinic, understanding what really matters, it changed me. Into what? Into who I should have been all along. From the kitchen doorway, Nai snorts. Very romantic, but dinner gets cold while you talk. Somehow this breaks the tension. May laughs, wiping away tears. Grandma's priorities never change. Over dinner, Liam shares details of his day, the confrontation with his father, the emergency board meeting, the plans to protect the clinic permanently. You look exhausted, May observes as they clear dishes together. Worth it, he says simply. Their hands touch over a plate. Neither pulls away. I'm still angry you lied, May says softly. I know. But I understand why. Their eyes meet, a current passing between them. Before either can speak, Nai interrupts. He stays on couch tonight, CEO or not. They both laugh, the moment breaking but the connection holding. In the weeks that follow, Liam divides his time between reclaiming his company and volunteering at the clinic. He still wears May's cousin's clothes when he's there, not as a disguise now, but because they feel right for the work. The clinic thrives with new equipment, including the AI diagnostic system originally promised. Dr. Wong hires additional staff. Patient capacity doubles. Victoria and her family retreat, their plans for real estate domination thwarted. Liam's father makes one attempt at retaliation before evidence of tax fraud silences him. Throughout it all, Liam and May's relationship evolves cautiously. Coffee after clinic hours, late-night conversations on her balcony, gradual trust rebuilding. You could live anywhere now, May points out one evening. Your penthouse must be amazing. It's empty, Liam replies. This place feels more like home than anywhere I've lived in years. Because of the lumpy couch, she teases. Because of you, he answers simply. Their first kiss comes naturally after that. Not a passionate collision, but a gentle meeting, tentative and sweet. 3 months after his return to his real life, Liam waits nervously in the community garden beside the clinic. Workers have transformed the space with twinkling lights and simple flowers. Wooden chairs form a small semicircle. Stop fidgeting, his assistant Sarah scolds, straightening his tie. You run $1 billion company, but you're terrified of a little ceremony. Different kind of courage, Liam murmurs. The small gathering quiets as music begins, just a local violinist playing a traditional song. May appears at the garden entrance, radiant in a simple white dress, Nai proudly at her side. Their vows are brief but heartfelt. Liam promises to see her always, truly see her, As she saw him when he had nothing, May promises to remind him of what matters when the world tries to distract him. Clinic patients and staff cheer as they kiss, sealing their commitment. At the modest reception, Nai pulls Liam aside. "You are good for her," she says approvingly, "even when you were just Lee." "You knew, didn't you?" Liam asks the question that's bothered him for months. "From the beginning." Nai's eyes twinkle. "I knew who you were the moment you fixed our sink. Rich men don't know how to fix things unless they remember being poor first." "Why didn't you say anything?" "Everyone deserves chance to find their true self." She pats his cheek. "You needed to be Lee before you could be the right Liam for my granddaughter." Across the garden, May laughs with her colleagues, beautiful in her joy. She catches Liam watching and smiles, that same smile that transformed her face the first night in her apartment, the smile that asked nothing of him except to be present. Liam crosses to her, taking her hand in his. No mansions, no luxury cars, no extravagant honeymoon awaits them. By choice, just a life of purpose together. "Happy?" May asks softly. "Completely," he answers, and for the first time in his life, it's entirely true. For now, that was enough. Don't forget to like this video if you believe in the power of love to break down walls and bridge any divide. Please do comment your feedback and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories of family, redemption, and the triumph of love over pride. Remember, it's never too late to change your story.